Live and Learn, a story by Stwumpo. Act 1. In a child's bedroom in a suburb of Chicago, a chirpy Pegasus baby sleeps nestled in a Tupperware full of cotton balls. He's only a few days old, still hasn't opened his eyes. He's awake now. It's early. The sun has just started warming him through the window. He stretches his delicate little weggies out to greet the day and starts scrambling around, trying to move. He's a very special foal. Kaylee, the girl whose room it is a student at DePaul University. He is her life science assignment to chart the development of a foal from infancy to adolescence. But the child entering the room is not Kaylee. Kaylee is at a flute competition. This is her 13-year-old brother, Spencer. Spencer is, to be blunt, a bad kid. He's mean. He's angry. He's hateful to those around him. He's also home alone today. Spencer sits at the desk and gently tickles the brown foal. The chubby Pegasus giggles and kicks his wiggies with delight. What he wants is to smash it like a tomato, but he'd get grounded by his bitch mom. No, Spencer has a better idea. Spencer got made fun of because he has soft features. He looks a lot like a smaller version of his sister, and it hasn't helped his shitty attitude to be constantly reminded. Today, he's wearing a wig he picked out to resemble her hair. He's wearing her makeup, her clothes, even her perfume. He's been recording her voice for days. He presses play.
Hello, little baby. Are you ready for milkies?
His sister's voice comes from the speaker, grainy but audible. He began grasping out for upsies, but no upsies came. Instead, he found the bottle coming down to him. Spencer didn't want to touch it yet, and he hadn't been watching his sister that closely when he spied on her. He didn't know the procedure, but he also didn't care. The baby was suckling slowly, as many babies like to do. They're almost always exhausted when they're this young. Spencer wasn't patient, and so he squeezed the bottle. A pressurized jet of warm foal formula rammed into his mouth, blasting both down his throat and up his nose. He coughed and made spit up, and Spencer had to stifle a laugh. Couldn't break character. He started playing the tape of all the mama songs his sister sings. She really likes Fluffies, and she wants to keep this one after the assignment. Wants to name it when it's big enough to learn. Spencer thinks they're dumb. They're smelly, and they talk funny, and they break too easily. He doesn't like them, and they annoy the shit out of him. So bad, he can't stand it. He pinches the foal hard on the scruff of his neck. The baby is panicking. What is it? It hurts so much. Say baby. Spencer, meanwhile, gets the tiny sewing needle he brought and punctures his right front hoof, the one he's been constantly suckling like a fucking baby. He gently grabs the leg so he can make sure he gets an even spread. The foal is shrieking now, hence why he had to wait for a day alone. And the plan only works because he hasn't opened his eyes yet. After putting a handful of holes in the bottom of the pad and an equal number around the sides, he roughly drops the foal back into the makeshift crib. Then he picks up the bulb of lime juice and spurts some onto the baby. Blasts him right in the face, too. He spits and sputters it out of his mouth, but as it comes in contact with his wounded hoof, the pain is immense. His shrieking reaches a peak now as his voice box starts to strain and he begins to rasp. His hoof barely shows any sign of injury now, due to how porous and floofy it is, but the acid still got in, and it's soaked into his hoof. The pain won't stop. no matter how much he gives his hoof mouthy huggies. Finally, Spencer stows all his stuff, discards the evidence, and prepares the finale. He flicks the baby hard in its chubby tummy, and it shits and vomits immediately. The pain and fear reach the point that his eyes flap open. He sees a blonde human with long hair and a low-cut top. The human smells like lilac and berries, and her voice is the voice of Mama. This is Mama.
That's right, honey. Mama's here.
Pinch.
Mama's here.
Pinch. Act 2. Kaylee is disappointed in her third-place finish, but she was sure she could tighten her performance up by June. As she returned home, she was looking forward to the cute little foal she was caring for. She was going to name him Oliver, just as soon as he opened his eyes and started calling her Mama. Her life had been stressful, so an uncomplicated baby is just what she needs. As she sets her things down, she looks to her desk and sees a sleeping foal, breathing softly, his ribs rising and falling. She walks over and gently strokes his belly fluff. Without waking, he softly hugs her finger and coos in his sleep.
Hey, buddy. Mama's home.
His reaction is swift. He sat up in an instant and started scrambling to escape, looking all over for a path. He was shitting and pissing on himself, and his hoof still hurt so bad it made him dizzy. Mama tried to grab him, but he was too slick and squirmed loose. It took about a minute for her to corner him on the desk. Most of her focus was on keeping him from jumping down and dying. Pegasi traditionally lack a fear of falling. He looked up with fear, now more able to see with his rested eyes. It was surely his tormentor from before. He was sure of it. Smelled and sounded the same. He pouted and cried quietly into his fluff. The shocked woman tried to hug him, but he started screaming pleas for mercy. Act 3. A week had passed, and the assignment was done. Kaylee was heartbroken with how afraid her foal was. Maybe she just wasn't cut out for raising a baby? But now she was done researching. So what to do? He'd grown into a chubby big baby, but whenever he saw her, he'd run and hide. No amount of niceness was able to overcome this reflex. She didn't know what to do. Luckily, her brother had an idea. He was usually a little creep, but in this case, he really came through. He told her about a shelter run by counselors that specialized in traumatized fluffies. She just had to bring him there the next day. She went to sleep content that her baby would be healthy and happy soon. Which is why she didn't see Spencer sneak in using a key copy he made. Didn't see him approach the cardboard box where Oliver was sleeping. He was bigger, but still a baby. About the size of a 4-month-old toddler. Delicate, too. Spencer carefully and quietly tore a gap in the box. He made sure it was right in front of Oliver's face. Then he pulled an ice cube out of his pocket and set it on the thickest part of Oliver's fluff, the top of his head. Then, without so much as a word, he left. 10 minutes later, water was dripping into Oliver's nose. He made big sneezes, and when he opened his eye, he saw it. There was a hole in his sorry box. Cold and soggy, he nuzzled the gap until he squeezed through and found himself on the desk. Looking down at the floor, he psyched himself up. He jumped and landed pretty quietly, but it hurt his waggies. He yelped, and then the worst happened. He heard Mama.
What? Who's here?
No! Baby, run away! Go run away, be safe from meanie mama! No catch baby!
The terrified little puffball bounded towards the slightly open door, ignoring the pain in his back and the sting of his hurty hoof, which still hadn't healed. There, the wall goes away, but there's no rail yet. As he reaches the top of the stairs, he has pause. His wings didn't save him from hurties when he escaped Meanie Box. Would they now? Before he could decide, Mama made the call for him. She burst out the door.
Wait, Oliver, stop!
He gasped. She's here. No, not when he's so close. He gulps, spreads his wings, and takes a running leap down the stairs. He lands 4 steps down, bouncing an average of 3 steps per bounce, totaling 14 steps. As he rolls onto the landing, he's stopped by the wall, where he impacts with a wet, slapping sound. Blood, piss, and shit are everywhere. Bones are sticking out. One of his eyes is falling out of his head. And even now, the horrible monster he called Mama was pursuing. She got down close and picked him up. He was sure the monster was going to make him a nummy baby. Kaylee was crying.
Oliver, please, say something. Mommy loves you, please.
His eyes creaked open, and a bloody tooth fell from his lips.
Baby? No, give a hoodie?
Kaylee was bawling.
Yes, I love you. I never want to hurt you. Oh God, Oliver, Mommy loves her special boy. You're my bestest baby.
A weak smile crossed his face.
Really?
She can't speak anymore, only nod. Sobbing, she clutches him close. Finally, she hears him. Wavering through tears, she croons.
Mama loves bestest baby.
And she feels it. 2 little stubby legs, one on each side of her sobbing face, and she felt them squeeze her softly.
No cry, Mama. Baby, rub this Mama. Baby.
And with that, he was gone. Act 4. Spencer had been in the hallway watching through the banisters. The glee he'd felt before was gone, replaced by something else. He felt sick, like he was going to vomit. He wasn't weak or queasy, but his gut was just rebelling. He went to his room and quietly locked himself in his half bathroom where he could retch in peace. My God. It talked. It didn't just make noises. It spoke. It saw his sister crying and wanted to help. Even thinking she'd hurt it so bad, it ran itself to death escaping. He'd killed that. He'd tortured and killed that. Spencer vomited again. He could hear his parents comforting his sister downstairs. In his room, locked in the bathroom, Spencer cried harder than anyone.